But my notes for this particular book read, elegant, wonderful, sad, fantastic flights of imagination and insight, how relationships unravel, how people live, beautiful translation, there's nothing alien about it. It's a seamless experience. So I'm really pleased he's actually here tonight to welcome Andrea Bajani with his novel Every Promise, which is published by Maclehose Press and it's translated from the Italian by Alistair McEwen. Andrea. And Andrea's appearance here tonight is supported by the Italian Cultural Institute and Maclehose Press.
The place of
you
the
choose.
translator or the author?
Now, what a choice. Okay.
Close to you.
Thank you. I love having Italians here. They're so charming. So charming. You probably remember Paolo Giordano. Do you
Yeah, close friend. We are from the same city.
Do give him my best because
Yeah,
he was
sure.
here.
We are neighbors.
Well, when's his next book coming out? It's taking a long time. Anyway, it would be great to see him again too. But it's fantastic to welcome you.
Yeah.
Also, because you're a journalist, aren't you?
Yeah, it's not true. I think
No?
it's not true. Everyone writes that I am a journalist, but I write for newspaper about books, about culture.
That is
but
journalism, you know.
I don't know because I lie.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not true.
Not true. So, have you always been a writer?
Yeah, since I was, I think, 12 years old, I wrote poems, horrible poems.
Were they really bad?
I think so. Yeah. And then I began writing prose. I was 20 years old. And then I decided that it was better to write in prose than poems. But now I write poems again.
But you've
Italians.
Italian. You're allowed to do whatever you like. But you've written several novels.
Yeah.
And so you've been writing novels for about 10 years, maybe?
I began writing novels. I published my first novel in Italy in 2005.
Right.
So 10 years.
10 years.
It's true. 10 years, and I think I wrote 5 novels. But I wrote also reportages, even if I'm not a journalist, because I lie.
You did as well. Now, this book, Ogni Promessa, which is, why do you think this is the book that's been translated first? I mean, when this was written in 2010.
2010.
2010.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know really. I don't know.
Because this is is this the first?
No.
Which
it
ones
was because I think because it won a great prize, and I think because my publisher loved it first of all. But I don't know. I think it's when I see the English cover, I'm so happy that
it's a wonderful cover.
Because
there's a house and a home on the cover, which is very significant.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's a paper house. The cover in Italy is a very sad cover with a very sad young boy coming down from a chair. And this is very nice because I think that a book is a house, a paper house. We try every time that we begin writing a novel is trying to build a house of paper for someone, and then at the end of the novel we ask the readers, more readers as we can, to come in
and so, buy some more paper.
No, and live in together with us.
Yes.
I would like to. I said to my publisher that I would like to publish every book with this cover. I think that it's not a good idea, but it's good. It's nice.
It's a new idea. Maybe
not the same title.
No, maybe you could have like a red house for one book and a blue house for another book.
It's an idea.
Maybe,
Publisher.
Mr. Publisher, if he's here, maybe that would work.
Yeah.
But do your novels have anything in common, or are they all very different?
Oh, it's me.
You're the only thing
the
they
author.
have in common.
Yeah, the author, not the cover, sadly. I think it's a very difficult question. I think that are, in some ways, sad novels. But at the same time, there are people trying to stay together, to have a good relationship. They can't, they are not very able to. But I think that my novels are, I'm lying. I think that there are people trying to make something with something that broke. I think that all of my characters, I don't know if all of my characters, but lying we can say, all of my characters have something that is broken in their lives. And so they try to put together and to give a shape of their lives. I think so, but...
I mean, what I know, I'm going to bore everybody else who knows this really. I know Italy very well, and I never see Italians reading books in public.
They don't read. They are shy.
So are
they are very shy.
Are they reading?
They read only like that.
But where are they reading? Are they reading at home? Because the television's on a lot. Everybody has 2 or 3 mobile phones.
Yeah, maybe
they're reading them.
In the mobile phone, mobile books, perhaps. I don't know. I think that they don't read very much, but I think that they perhaps they choose their places, and perhaps they reading. Perhaps for Italian people is not reading in public. I don't know. I read on my sofa, and I hope there is no one with me coming and asking.
Disturbing you.
No,
But I mean, good literature always breaks through. I mean, and Italy is producing some fantastic writers at the moment. We're getting more and more translated, which is fantastic. Now, let's talk about this book, because it is a very, very, very special book. And apart from the brilliant, beautiful, beautiful writing. And again, I'm going to do exactly the same thing as I could do with any of the other books, is open any page and read you something. And you will just think how wonderful it is. So they sat down on a bench by the riverside. The sun was already low. Bicycles passed by, and pushchairs with mothers behind them, and the panting of the runners. And in front, on the river, there was a man teaching his son how to row. And everything is just so beautiful about this book. And obviously, you've got a wonderful translator as well, but it is a very beautiful book. But in addition to the beautiful writing, you've got an extraordinary story about Italians and Russians in the Second World War. How did you come across that story?
It was very difficult. I think we are drinking all the same water.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I know.
This is nobody's touched that one.
Author's water.
Sorry, I'm a bit slow there.
It was really author's water.
Yeah,
okay. It's good.
It's true. It's fine.
Yeah. It was really, really hard to write this book. I was in that period. I used to live in Paris from 2007 to 2010, more or less. I lived there. I used to live lots of long periods there, and it was really, really hard because it was about things that are no more here. And so there's a couple that is trying to have a baby, and they can't. Pietro and Sara, they can't have a baby, and so they are trying to manage with something that doesn't happen. And so there is this nothing that is very powerful, that is very, very hard for them. And at the same time, there is another nothing that is the grandfather of Pietro, of the main character, that came back from the Second World War crazy. And so Pietro never knew his grandfather, or he saw him a few times. And so it was a book about things that are no more here, or that are not here, but are very powerful. Absence is very powerful. And so writing about absence is very difficult. It's like writing a novel without words. It's an experience. And it was really, really difficult. I was in Paris, and there is this character, this main character, Pietro, that is trying to go to Russia because he wants to discover his grandfather's past. Russia or not Russia is not important. Important is trying to go to the past, to see if past is really closed or not. Past is past, or past is in some way you can manage, you can do something about it. And writing about absence, writing about Russia, I made a very long trip to Russia, was really difficult because I had a problem, moreover, I had a problem with my character, because from the beginning I tried to, I wanted him to leave to Russia. From the first page, I wanted him to leave to Russia, but he didn't. It was really a nightmare for me. I was in Paris, and I asked him, please leave to Paris. One day, 1 week, 1 month, and he was still there with me in Paris. And then I begged him to leave. And then at page, I think, 100, he left.
He finally,
But it's good also before.
Yeah, but also you do that very cleverly because, of course, you change the time and backwards and forwards all the time anyway, which is very, very clever, of course. And I mean, the other thing I think you do wonderfully, I know you're going to read now too, and we unfortunately have to move on, but is your description of post-traumatic stress and wartime and mental illness is absolutely, it's so moving and so touching, how people get into these dreadful psychiatric states after war and so on too. And of course Pietro himself, everybody, the mother, Giovanna, they all suffer in some way.
Yeah, I think that I was suffering while writing this book, but I think that everyone has a post-traumatic stress, can have, is war. It's not the same. We know very well that Second World War and First World War and all other wars are different. But I think that we always try to make something with traumas. And in some cases we victimize ourselves, and so we stay where we are. In some other cases, we try to do something to give a shape, to try to find beauty in after traumas. Not to find beauty that life is beautiful. Life is not beautiful.
La vita è bella.
La vita è bella. Life is not really that beautiful, but we have this life, and so perhaps it's good to tell a story.
And we have beautiful books. Anyway, if you'd be kind enough to read for us, Andrea.
Yeah, in my English. Okay.
It'd be a great pleasure.
Yeah, I try.
Thank you so much.
When Sarah and I first lived together, she used to accompany me to the school every morning to see the children. We had just arrived in the new house. The move has been fairly hasty, and like all moves, it had been an audition. The neighbors looking at us from the window, while we tried to say and do nothing that might irritate them. All we wanted was to be accepted right away. So at first, we only put striking flowers on the balcony. We only hung out our best clothes. And we only showed ourselves to be the closest of couples. When we argued, we would close the windows so we couldn't be heard and blow our rage out indoors. The room would swell with our fury. Its walls would curve. It became a cave, every shout another path, the walls bulging outwards and the ceiling rising. And we used to think about the signora who lived above us and her grandson who would see the floor suddenly swell beneath their feet. Then when we stopped fighting and we would open the windows again, our anger would escape in a single pulsating blast, and the walls and floor would again become straight. And we would go out onto the balcony, all smiles, and if we saw someone, we would say, "Good day, how's it going?" On the stairs, we used to say hello to everyone. I would introduce myself and shake our neighbors by the hand, and Sarah always said, "we," because saying "we" was more reassuring. It was romantic too. It was like getting back together again every time. Finally, and above all, that we expressed a hope. Sarah's "we" held all the life we would have led together. For that "we" to exist, it was necessary to have children. Because her "we" was, now there are only 2 of us, but then there will be 3 or 4, and we'll fill the house with children who will cry a bit at first. Then they'll go out on the balcony with someone who will teach them how to walk on tiptoe, and you can say hello to them if you wish, and then they'll play on their own on the balcony. Then you'll see them going out the front door, holding their mother's hand to go to school. Then you'll see them go out on their own, walk a few yards, look around, turn the corner and light up the cigarette. Then you'll hear us arguing with them, and you'll hear doors slamming. Then you'll hear us arguing, mother and father, because we won't agree on the best way to bring them up. And you'll see one of us coming out onto the balcony for an edgy smoke and going back inside and coming out again. And one of our children will go out every afternoon while another will always stay at home. And down in the courtyard, you'll see them change the way they walk. And then they'll start to bring home boyfriends and girlfriends. And when you get used to one, suddenly he or she won't come anymore. And then they'll go to university, and you'll see them leave with a big bag on Sunday and come back on Saturday with the same bag, only more crumpled. And then you'll see them take away what little they possess when they move out, only to come back every so often for Sunday lunch and Easter and Christmas. And then you'll see us, the mother and the father, suddenly bereft of children, sitting for hours and hours on the balcony without exchanging a word, only to dash into the house when the telephone rings, so we have something new to talk about after the call. And then back across the courtyard, you'll see bellies growing as they cross the courtyard together with our sons, and everything will begin anew. And again, you'll hear crying in the house as we grow old all at once, in a sudden crash, smiling at each other, contenting ourselves, busy with the children our old children will have given us in exchange for themselves. Thank you.